Hello, everybody. My name is Richard Butler, and today I'd like to talk to you all about personal online privacy. This is a very important topic considering how much of our lives are online and how much time we spend using technology that is connected to the internet. And the fact that there are a bunch of malicious people out there that are trying to get stuff out of you when you are unsecure. So here are some ways to stay secure. One of the first things we're going to talk about is the virtual private network, or a VPN. In the article I read about the VPNs, they made the analogy that it is a secure tunnel between your PC and destinations you visit on the internet. So when you're in this quote-unquote tunnel, it's very difficult for people to spy on your activity. It kind of blocks them out as a nice little shield. It ensures that your online searches are private and secure. And one thing it does too is it hides your location from where you're surfing. So I'm sitting at home right now recording this video. If I was on a VPN, my location would show up where the server for this VPN is. It could be in a different country. It could be 2 blocks down the road. Doesn't matter. It doesn't give the geographic location of my actual computer while I'm surfing. That's going to be useful if you are like in a different country, like say you're in the UK and you have music restrictions on streaming abilities. Like I want to be able to access StreamMate via the US version. I'll be able to do that if I had a VPN. So next off, we got more stuff on the VPN. So the big thing about VPN is that it protects you when you're on public networks, like at a Starbucks or the airport. I know as a student, I spent a lot of time in a Starbucks or a coffee shop where the public network was open to everybody. It's not password protected. And when you're on this kind of a network, it's easier for hackers to hack into your activity if you don't use a VPN. So you got to think of it kind of like as a shield against hackers, especially on the open networks. Password protected, like your home network, probably. One of the features you want to look at, or some of the features you want to look at when you're looking for a VPN that'll suit you, is you want to look at what kind of activity logging the VPN does. All of them are going to log some info. It just depends on what kind of level of activity of logging that you're comfortable with. Also, you want to look at their terms of use. Make sure that they're amenable to what you want to do. If they're a little too arduous or not, you want to make sure you read the fine print pretty well with these things. Also, do they offer an application like on your phone or on your computer that you can shut down, uninstall, that doesn't like firmware into your computer? That's about it for the VPN. So it's like a shield for your computer, and it hides your online activity a lot better. So next thing we want to talk about is to selfie or not to selfie. Now, I know a lot of people, with the front-facing cameras on their phones and stuff, like to take selfies, especially when they're having a good time. Well, companies know this, so what they do, especially if you post them onto like Twitter, Tumblr, Flickr, and Pinterest, they data mine these things, especially if you have logos of companies like Starbucks. If you're holding, pumpkin spice latte in fall and you're smiling and you're in the middle of a city, Starbucks has companies out there looking for these pictures that they can use for advertisements. They also use these kind of advertisements to advertise on, let's say, your Google searches, and so they put ads on your computer that they think will suit what you're looking for. One of the cool things that I was kind of surprised about is that Facebook kind of has some privacy settings that protects you from these kind of data mining. You just have to go into the settings and make sure that you click all the right buttons and make sure that nobody can take your pictures off of Facebook. Now, one of the things about data mining is that there are no clear laws that protect you from this. Now, they did mention that you can like write strongly worded letters to the companies and do things like that. But the best way to defend yourself against being data mined is be careful about where you post your pictures and how often you post these pictures. I don't post a lot to Twitter. I post more on Facebook where I know my photos are going to be secure and not as subject to data mining. One thing else we want to look at is ways to protect yourself. According to a USA Today article, there are 8 ways that they mentioned how to protect yourself on the internet. The first way is to minimize your exposure. It's pretty self-explanatory, but one of the things they did mention as an important thing to do is don't authenticate yourself to anyone unless you're in control of the interaction. You also don't want to overshare on social media. Don't share any information you wouldn't want your closest friends to know or anybody to know about any of your accounts or anything like that, which leads to our next one. You want to monitor your accounts with diligence. Check your credit report often. Usually, a lot of the banks that you online bank through will offer free credit reporting. I would check that pretty regularly. Also, you can sign up to get alerts on your credit account. I know I've had problems with identity theft in the past, and having those alerts on my account really helped me not get hit too hard with it before I can fix the problem. Which leads me to the next thing: you want to manage the damage. So it's tough to say. It's going to be more when, not if. I mean, some people may be able to avoid identity theft and stuff like this, but if it does come, you want to manage the damage. So there are programs that you can enroll in that are free and that can help you navigate these kind of waters. You want to beware of phishing. This is like clicking on the so-called clickbait or clicking on links from people you don't know. You want to be careful of this because it could be malware and it could really hurt your computer, and it can get people into your information. Which goes to your next thing: be smart with your passwords. Don't use the same password on everything. I know it's hard to remember passwords. I have the same problem. I've had to change my passwords a lot of times because I've been hacked because some of my passwords are similar. That's a lesson I had to learn the hard way. You also want to make sure that they are complex. Don't just put password 1234. You want to put different characters, upper, lowercase, mix it up. One of the things they also said is use multiple factor authentication. What this means is, like, if you lose a password, they can send it to your phone and you can verify through your phone number or different email accounts. Just multiple ways of authenticating who you are makes you a lot more secure. And they also said consider encryption. You can use encrypted mail services, and it may sound like super technical, but they did say it was pretty easy. You just got to do a quick search and download, and it'd be all right. You also want to tighten your privacy settings on social media. Like I said before, you don't want to overshare. You got to make sure that you are being secure, not sharing too much information, personal information that you wouldn't want to have anybody else have. That's all I have for how to protect yourself online. Thank you for listening.